The Zeppelin Pro is a wireless speaker reimagined for the streaming age. It supports AirPlay 2, aptX adaptive Bluetooth for both iOS and Android, Spotify Connect. It can be controlled via the Bowers & Wilkins app, and it gives you access to all your other streaming services like Deezer, SoundCloud, and Tidal. The driver complement is as follows. You get two 1-inch decoupled dome tweeters mounted at the far edges. You get two 3.5-inch mid-range drivers, which use B&W's fixed suspension transducer, the FST Tech, and dead center is a 6-inch subwoofer driver. It's all powered by a 240-watt Class D amplifier, which they say is essentially makes it a 2.1 system, but I mean, not really, because you can't really connect it to your TV. It's got a 192 kHz 24-bit digital to analog converter, and it's also got its own DSP for internal filtering and tone control functions. It's available in two different colorways. There's space gray, and then there's also that snazzy solar gold, which is what my review sample arrived in, and it retails for $7.99 US. And of course, if you wouldn't mind just liking this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon for notifications. It helps me out a ton, helps me get more of these awesome products in for review. I really do appreciate it. The Zeppelin looks kind of like a blimp, and it has since its inception. This new iteration, though, is said to improve on its wireless functionality. My Solar Gold review sample arrives with a metal stand for a two-tone appearance. On the stand is the Bowers & Wilkins logo or word mark. The whole front of this speaker is a non-removable cloth grille, so you can't take it off and look at the drivers. And the whole back of the unit is this matte plastic, which kind of mimics a metal, but isn't. It also has a nice LED ambient light that's on when the unit is turned on, and it can be dimmed or switched off completely, all via the app. The whole thing looks decidedly upmarket. It is the type of product that you want to show off and have on display. It's not something that I imagine you'd want to tuck away into a shelf or into a corner or something. And I feel like this is the product that you can maybe be that happy medium to those that have a spouse that does not want any audio equipment in the home whatsoever. I feel like this could be the one that you can maybe get away with. On the top back, there are physical control buttons. There's one with 3 lines, and that's the multifunction button. There's a play-pause button, a volume up and down button, and on the Zeppelin Pro, there is no Alexa button. And thank goodness, because if my kids get a hold of Alexa, it's nothing but, hey, Alexa, what does my fart smell like? Hey, Alexa, where does poo come from? It's horrible, and it gets tiresome after about 5 minutes. So nothing Alexa in this household, and if you don't like Alexa either, go for the Pro. The multifunction button does have a color-coded sort of illumination, flashes yellow during setup, red for when the speaker needs to reset, but it's typically off when it's normally on. As far as connectivity though, it's fairly Spartan. The main power port is located at the back. To the left of it is a USB-C port for software updates, and on the other side there's a reset button. But aside from that, there are no physical connections on this device whatsoever. This is strictly a wireless product. I do feel like HDMI ARC would have been a fun addition to this, though it would go against this being an all-wireless solution, but I don't know, maybe this would look silly underneath your TV, but it is fairly small and compact, and maybe they would have to pay for some certain codecs to make this a 2.1-ish solution or something. I don't know, but I feel like that's a missed opportunity. It's Bluetooth compatible with Bluetooth 5.0, equipped with aptX adaptive codec. The app works well, the interface is really easy. Generally, I just get bounced back to whatever my player is on my iPhone, be it iTunes or Spotify. You can also access other things like bass and treble, the ambient light settings, the brightness level. You can't really connect to a NAS or anything, but apparently if you are an iOS user, you can use AirPlay to connect to your local library of sorts, but I couldn't really do that, and all my other music is on a NAS, so I was SOL there. Once I did get this unboxed, I set this up on that rear speaker shelf that I built for behind my couch. My initial thought was putting it against my floor-to-ceiling windows, like against that wall where the subwoofer is, but I decided to go against that because A, I felt like it would look better on that wall, but also everything sounds great in that room on opposing walls, like the rear surrounds or the front speaker stage. So having it on that rear speaker shelf made a lot of sense to me. The Zeppelin could act as my music-only device in my main room while I'm cooking, doing a bit of thought work, maybe doing some painting. And the speaker sounds really great there. It's all very spatial, it's a really wide sound, and I don't feel the need to have it pulled out a foot into my room. It sounds great just where I put it. And if you were to look at this product online and compare it to the regular Zeppelin, you might think, hey, aside from missing Alexa and having different colorways, what is the big improvement? And it's all internal. It's all the sonic improvements that Bowers & Wilkins has made to this one versus the original that came out in 2021. And if you are looking to maybe take a step up in sound, if you're coming from those smaller Bluetooth devices like the Beats Pill or something, like I have an old Bose that I take with me if I'm stuck camping or out on vacation somewhere, something I can kick around. The sonic improvements between this and those sort of devices is going to be night and day. So if you want to have a product in your home that is fixed but can play music as easy as those other Bluetooth devices, but takes a big leap in sonic capability, it's worth taking a listen to this one. Post setup, I never actually used any of the buttons on the back of this device. I'm sure that if you were to live with this, maybe you would use them sometimes or something, but I found everything's available in the app, and the only thing that I would consider using is maybe an on-off button, but there isn't one. There's not one in the app that I could see, and there's not one on the device. You just stop playing music, and eventually it just powers down. The light isn't overly bright or intrusive. I can also just turn off the light altogether, so it works when I need it to work, and I pretty much just select the speaker when I want to listen to music, and I'm off to the races. I can Bluetooth to it off my computer, but I mostly just use AirPlay all the time because I'm an all-Mac household. It's also a fairly small device compared to what I was expecting. Even when I saw the box, it looks so much bigger than what this device actually is. But fortunately, the sound is far from small. It is still a wireless speaker, so it's not going to sound as big as two big bookshelf speakers connected to an amplifier. But what it does have going for it is a very wide and spatial sound. Like the sound isn't coming towards you as much as it is kind of growing out and filling your space. I'm always aware of where the sound is coming from. It's always coming from where the speaker is, but it does sort of give me the impression that it is a bigger overall sound than what I'm expecting coming out of this little device. For an everyday lifestyle speaker, I think it works really well. It's got a nice deep DSP style bass to it, and all of my music sounds really good there. Even some of the drum and bass and dubstep that I do listen to. It's not going to go subterranean or anything, but it's got a nice deep bass for what the speaker is. It's got a nice wide, spacious sound. And so long as you're not trying to throw a raucous party where you need the volume at ear-splitting levels for hours on end, I think this would suit most people to fill a medium to modest size room. I did run a few different tracks through this. I ran a techno track, I think it's Trace's Answer Code Request, and it did rumble through this track. It did make the highs sound really nice. It did give me a nice low end bit of impact. It sounded pretty good through this, just as long as I kept it at a modest level. But then if I played A Strange Story by Kircha, this was the song that's kind of at the limit of what this speaker can handle. It's got a big deep sub. It's not really reproducing through this speaker. It's not made for tunes like this, and it sort of just hangs on for dear life. But tracks like Cold Facts from Ka or KA sound really dope. All the ambience in that track, the static, the over reverb on it, the overall vibe of the song just sounds really good. And I found myself just listening to a lot of hip hop, a lot of just untaxing music on it. Like if I want tons of oomph and bass, and I just go to a traditional speaker package, but if I'm just grooving along to some music and I'm not looking to nitpick the sound too much, this is a perfect speaker for that. So much so that having it playing while I am cooking and then moving over to maybe drawing or painting when I don't have the kids, it's just an easy speaker to vibe with, to have music playing, to sort of fill in that dead space when I am by myself and I want to get into the zone of something creative. And for the times when my kids are over and I'm forced to listen to the Jackson 5 or Taylor Swift over and over and over, And if we ever wanted to just turn up the volume, maybe just dance around the condo, we can do that. It never faltered. Actually, the signal never once dropped out ever on this, and that does happen sometimes with wireless speakers, and it never did with this. It was it worked whenever we needed it to work, and no complaints whatsoever. I think if I was to directly compare it to something, maybe somewhat unfairly, it would be the Horizon from Marantz. I just got that in-house. It does cost quite a bit more than this does. To my ears, the Marantz does punch harder, it digs deeper, it sounds more spacious, but it should. It costs like $4,000, so yeah. I think the big question would be, which one looks better? And again, I think that's a bit of a pick'em. One looks like a moon on a pedestal stand, and the other one looks like a blimp. They both look decidedly upmarket, but they both look vastly different. This truly is an elevated, lifestyle-oriented wireless speaker. And to that end, I don't really have any significant complaints about it. For what it is, the Zeppelin sounds really good. I'm sure you can nitpick the sound if you want to, but it's not really targeted at the audiophile. It's targeted at the everyday consumer that has the funds to spend a little bit more on an attractive speaker that they can set up, forget about, and just enjoy music. And to that end, Bowers & Wilkins nailed it. Thanks for watching.